Hello, you're watching the News Broadcast Daily, and today's headlines are:
Government convenes a meeting in Hanoi to review socio-economic performance in March and the first quarter of this year. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng urges expansion of Vietnam-Russia cooperation in oil and gas. Vietnam and the Customs Union of Russia, Belarus and Kazakhstan launched the first round of talks on the free trade agreement.
President Trương Tấn Sang received in Hanoi on March 28th Senator Sim Kha, member of the Cambodian People's Party Standing Committee, and his entourage. The senator is on a working visit to Vietnam. At the meeting, the president expressed his pleasure at the intensive, practical, and effective development in the relations between the two countries, particularly the success of the Vietnam-Cambodia Friendship Year in 2012. He affirmed Vietnam's treasures and gives high priority to strengthening the good neighborliness, traditional friendship, and comprehensive cooperation with Cambodia. Sang also valued the cooperation between the two parties over the past time. He wished the two sides would continue to effectively implement high-level agreements between the two parties and the two countries. Senator Sim Kha expressed his gratitude to Vietnam for its timely, effective, and precise assistance during Cambodia's struggle for national liberation and current construction and defense. He said the Cambodian People Party, state, and people will do their utmost to elevate the traditional friendship between the two parties and nations to a new height. He affirmed that Cambodia will continue working closely with Vietnam to implement agreements and joint declarations between the two parties and states. The government has convened its regular monthly meeting in Hanoi to review the socio-economic performance in March and the first quarter of this year.
During the two-day event, which opened on March 29th, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng highlighted the consistent goal of stabilizing the macroeconomy and curbing inflation. He asked ministries and departments to focus on clearing obstacles faced by businesses, dealing with bad debts and inventories, and stimulating production and trading. Dũng said it is necessary to take a flexible and effective monetary policy and further consider reducing lending interests, especially for agriculture and rural development projects, to ensure stable production and generate jobs. Dũng consented to the proposal by a number of government members to allow foreigners to buy houses in Vietnam. He said, however, that there should be regulations and management measures to prevent negative activities. He requested relevant agencies to ensure a balance in the state budget, take drastic moves to save expenses, speed up the disbursement of state capital and credit. According to him, more policies should be adopted to lure foreign investment, especially those in high-tech and support industries. Dũng called for restructuring the economy in a drastic manner, including public investment, state-owned enterprises, and financial markets, with the priority being given to commercial banks and financial institutions. The government leader also asked ministries, departments, and localities to pay attention to social welfare policies, especially for the poor, welfare beneficiaries, and those living in the areas hit by natural disasters and epidemic disasters. In March, the Consumer Price Index fell by 0.19% from the previous month, following increases for the seventh consecutive month. Meanwhile, domestic producers saw slow sales and huge inventories. Consequently, synchronous, effective, and drastic measures should be taken to revive the economy and generate jobs, while maintaining a reasonable growth to drive a sustainable economic development, cabinet members said.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng has urged expansion of Vietnam-Russia cooperation in the oil and gas sector, particularly in oil and gas investment projects in Russia and processing. At reception on March 28th for Kuryashov Sergei Ivanovich, General Director of the Russian Oil and Gas Corporation, Zarubazhnev, the Prime Minister affirmed that Vietnam will create all possible conditions for the win-win cooperation between the Vietnam National Oil and Gas Group and Zarubazhnev. He said the cooperation between the two corporations has made positive contributions to both nations' development over the past time. For his part, Ivanovich said the cooperation between the two corporations is the friendship bridge and a model for the cooperation between the two countries. The two sides have made joint efforts to effectively carry out their oil exploration joint ventures in Russia despite severe weather conditions, he said. These projects will lay a firm foundation for future cooperation in energy between the two countries, he added. The center city of Da Nang opened to traffic two bridges spanning over the Han River on March 29th to mark the 38th anniversary of its Liberation Day. Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc attended the event.
The 6-lane bridges named Trần Thị Lý and Rồng or Dragon connect the heart of the city with surrounding districts. With unique structures and modern lighting systems, the bridges highlight the city's dynamic growth and beautify the Han River, particularly at night. They cost around over 3.4 trillion dong, roughly $165 million. Addressing the ceremony, Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc held efforts made by the consultants, supervisors, and constructors. In the coming time, the government will create all conditions for the development of Da Nang, making it a political, social, economic, and cultural hub of the Central and Central Highlands provinces, he added. The same day, Phúc presented the Prime Minister's certificates of merit to 8 outstanding units in building the bridges.
Vietnam and the Customs of Union of Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan have launched their first round of talks on a free trade agreement between the two sides in Hanoi. During the session on March 27 to 29, the two sides will discuss over details about the scope and areas covered by the free trade agreement and the structure and methods of negotiations. The two sides agreed that the agreement will be in line with the regulations of the World Trade Organization, while taking due consideration of each nation's sensitive areas and the development gap between them. Two-way trade between Vietnam and the Customs Union of Russia, Belarus, and Kazakhstan stood at $2.7 billion in 2012. The free trade agreement is expected to have the two sides achieve its goal of raising bilateral trade turnover to $10 billion before 2020, as set by their leaders. It also contributes to boosting the political, economic, trade, and investment relations between the four countries. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the German Agency for International Cooperation launched in Hanoi on March 28th a program on the integrated coastal and mangrove forest protection in the Mekong Delta for the adaptation to climate change.
Climate change is one of the biggest challenges facing humankind and ecosystems in the 21st century. Responding to climate change has become a big concern for Vietnam, especially for the Mekong Delta, which suffers from severe flooding, sea level rise, storms, and droughts. Therefore, the program is part of efforts to help the Mekong Delta adapt to climate change. It will be implemented in the 5 regional provinces of An Giang, Bạc Liêu, Cà Mau, Kiên Giang, and Sóc Trăng. It costs about 20 million euros. The governments of Germany and Australia provide 18.35 million euros in technical cooperation, and the remainder comes from the Vietnamese government.
And that has wrapped up today's program. I'm Bảo Ngọc. Thank you for watching. See you next time.